Number 5, Battle of Gods. Now, this is on the list for the opposite reason of GT ending. This was truly Dragon Ball's revival. Now, if you remember this time period, I remember it, but I was young, but I still remember when Yo Son Goku came out. That's like, okay, it's an OVAs, it's just a little get together. And so, no one's really taking it seriously, but it's clear that something's on the rise. Then fast forward to a year later, Toriyama's birthday, around that time period, Dragon Ball Kai comes out. Okay, well, now you're re-airing Dragon Ball Z just a bit chopped up to make it more faithful to the manga, right? So now you're thinking, okay, maybe, you thought you were going to get maybe a new series, but, it's fine that the new generation gets to experience Dragon Ball Z, whatnot. But then Dragon Ball Kai gets canceled. And now everyone's thinking, okay, well, what's going on with Dragon Ball? I mean, you got some things going on during that cancellation time period. You got episode of Bardock, you got more games, things of that nature. But Battle of Gods was what Dragon Ball Kai wasn't. It was something new. And that's what really got people perked up. It was big in the States. I remember it being announced in the States. That's how big it was. And imagine, all the curiosity around Beerus and all this stuff, the universes, all that stuff getting introduced. And not only that, but this led to Resurrection F, Dragon Ball Super. All that stuff came as a result of Battle of Gods' success. Number 4, Majin Buu exploding the Earth. This one is another one that was teased for pretty much all of Dragon Ball. For almost every arc, every single villain would tease blowing up the Earth. Vegeta did it, Frieza did it, Cell did it. Almost every villain, even Piccolo pretty much did it. Both Piccolos. Majin Buu didn't give a flying fladoodle. He just straight up blew up the Earth. And it was because of that, even Goku was shocked. Goku was in so much shock, he didn't know whether to grab his sons or grab Satan. And that's what makes this moment all the more special. It's amazing that it took a villain this long in the series to actually blow up the planet. Number 3, the arrival of Raditz. Now, this one is huge. This is what kicks off Dragon Ball Z. This is what almost every single game starts at. And this is a very huge section of the story, and rightfully so. Imagine watching Dragon Ball or reading Dragon Ball, and up to this point, you're thinking Goku's just this fun-loving monkey boy. And out of nowhere, boom, he's a dad. And then boom, he's also an alien. This stuff hits like boom, like that. I wanted to include Goku being a dad, but I'm gonna just include it into this. It's all one big thing. Goku being really the start of Z. That's what this should be, the start of Z. Because Goku being a dad, that's one thing that shocks people. And then 2, him being an alien, it's a double punch that really gets you like, whoa, what is going on here? After 5 years, Dragon Ball had changed so much in universe. And also another thing about Raditz is back in his day, he was legit. He was the strongest guy they had ever faced. He made Piccolo look like a worm. And so this stuff is really, really freaking scary, which also leads to Goku's death, which is also bundled into this, little topic. I should have made this the start of Z, but I'm bundling all this into one. So look at this. You got the 1-2 punch of Goku having a kid and Raditz showing up, proclaiming that he's Goku's brother and that Goku's an alien. And then the third huge punch, this is more like a kick to the balls, is Goku dying. The main character dies? That's insane. I remember the first time I saw this growing up and I thought, man, did this really just happen? And the same thing would go on to happen in different series like Yu Yu Hakusho, where Yusuke dies in the first episode. But it's hard to really feel that Togashi wasn't inspired by Goku dying in the early stages of Dragon Ball Z. Well, at least that section of the story in the manga. Number 2, Krillin's death. Up to this point, the only guy they've ever seen die and be brought back to life was Bora. But he was a side character. No one really cares about side characters. It's really when a main character dies is when people cares. Like I mentioned for Goku's death earlier, this will blow your mind. You don't expect main characters to just die off like that. You don't expect that. But in this series, it makes so much more sense because they can come back with Dragon Balls. Not only that, but you're thinking, okay, well, they do have the Dragon Balls. They can bring him back to life. Until Piccolo does this to Shenlong. He blows him up. So where are the Dragon Balls? The rest of this arc, you're thinking after this, Kame Sennin dies. Chaozu dies. So many people die in this arc. All the martial artists die in this arc. You're thinking, what's going to be of the world? And even in the anime, there's a cool segment where Goku kind of tells Krillin, he's like, wait, Krillin, he looks at him for a second. He's just like, he just stares at him. And then, when they're sitting and eating at the dinner table, that's when Goku realizes something's up. And he goes and chases his friend and finds out that Krillin's dead. And that's what really, really makes this scene hit. And this is a very underrated scene of Dragon Ball. Number 1, Trunks' first appearance. Goku being an alien is huge. Don't get me wrong. And Krillin's death is also huge, okay? But tell me, when you first seen Trunks transform in front of Frieza with the Capsule Corp jacket, tell me you weren't looking at your screen just going, what the is going on? I remember the first time I saw this thinking, I had no clue. You have no clue. Dragon Ball's way better going into it not knowing a thing. It's way better. Trunks is a character that gets so much love because of this scene, because of his first appearance. He shows up, transforms into this legendary transformation that you've only ever seen Goku do, and he's wearing Capsule Corp, and then he slices up Frieza like he's nothing. In your head, you're thinking Frieza was the toughest SOB that Dragon Ball's ever seen up to this point, and he gets done in like that from this random boy, and no one knows who he is? No one, not a soul. And then when Goku shows up on Earth just later on, just 3 hours later or so, he goes like, I don't know who this kid is. And so you're like, who is this kid? And the funny part about this all is, when he actually reveals to Goku who he is, it's even more shocking. The fact that he's the product of Vegeta and Bulma makes it 10 times more shocking than it should have been. The fact that he's from future. So now Dragon Ball's doing time travel now. This is by far the most shocking moment in Dragon Ball. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Do you agree with this list? Do you disagree? Let me know about some other shocking moments in Dragon Ball. And check out my other videos. I got way more coming up. I'll see y'all in the next one.